Okay, so this reading is going to be about Oprah Winfrey because I have some questions that I would like to know about her. There's some questions I have about her. Is that Oprah Winfrey has set out on a course to use people's life experiments or life experiences that have been traumatizing, struggling, disappointing, painful, hurtful. What I'm seeing is that these types of people that she chooses to or chose to bring on her shows or so-called support, there was an ulterior motive behind this. That's what I'm seeing so far. There was an ulterior motive behind each and every one of these people that she brought on her show. It was not because she necessarily cared about the struggle. It was to point out the struggle or point out the issue, point out the challenge. It's almost like she wanted to bring it to light for the world to see. And react to, because she knew that vulnerability could possibly be a means of attention. She learned that early. That vulnerability could be a means to getting attention. So for someone who did not get the attention she craved in childhood, to me, it seems like she sought out to gain that attention through her career. Now, the other thing that I see is in Oprah is that she wants to be the authority in her relationships and her partnerships. Okay, this includes her business partners. She needs, not wants, she needs to be in control of the resources that are conjugated within her partnerships. She needs to be in control of that. And this goes for anybody that she decides to attach herself to. She has to be in control of that situation. It's not a basically, if you attempt to try to challenge her authority, basically, it's going to conflict with who she really is, which is her ego. Okay? You're going to conflict with that. Because Oprah believes, and I'm telling you, she really does believe that she knows better than you, and that she is better than you. So you shouldn't challenge her here. Don't challenge her here, okay? If you challenge her here, she could very well change your status. She will have a hand in dismantling your status. Or, because it can go the opposite way too. This is either a you follow, or you recognize, and if you don't, I'll have to then show you who I am. I completely see this with this lady, and especially after going over her chart. I definitely see this. She is controlling. And I mean so much so within her partnerships and business relationships and friendships, that if you cross her or if she feels challenged, you're going to know exactly how much power she has, how much in authority she has, or she is. It has to be respectful. It should recognize her genius, because she likes stuff like that. She likes when you recognize her intelligence. She likes when you recognize how supportive she is, or she appears to be. I had wrote down a list of things that I observed watching some of the videos, okay? I wrote down that her status seems to matter to her image, which it does. You'll hear this a lot when she makes comments about people not responding to negativity, not giving energy to negativity, because she's one of those people who believes that what you put out, you get back. So you may not hear her publicly. Excuse me. You may not hear her publicly going in on somebody. Like talking about somebody in a negative light. If she speaks on it, because I don't believe she's even going to speak on it, especially if it's negative. She don't want to speak on it. She tries to dismiss it or not talk about it at all. Even if she has retaliated against someone, she did it in private. She did it where you wouldn't be able to directly pinpoint her as being the one who did it. And there are plenty of ways to do that. But if you don't talk when someone asks you a question, simply saying that, oh, that's negative and blah, 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 because this is a lady who deeply cares about what is said to her. About her, excuse me. She really does care about what is said about her. The minute you throw a negative comment together with her name, To her, you are challenged now. You're a challenge. So this lady believes that no one should be negatively criticizing anyone or talking down about a situation, talking negatively about a situation, saying things that could place somebody in a not so nice light.
Fame isn't what you think of yourself, it's what other people think of you. If you come into that and you don't have a grounded, centered self, you will be controlled by the outside instead of the inside. And if you come into that not in the fullness of knowing who you are and what you're supposed to do with that fame, whenever somebody likes you or doesn't like you, that determines whether or not you're having a good day or a bad day. And you have lost control of your own life. So I think what fame teaches you quickly is to grow the wholeness within yourself so that you're not controlled by others' outside opinions of you. Each of us comes into the world with our own worldview, and that worldview is actually shaped from the crib.
And so the reason why I decided to show you guys this clip is so that you can have an idea of how Oprah Winfrey thinks as it pertains to fame, and how she believes that because fame is what other people think of you, to me this conveys that if people think that you are ignorant to your resources or how to best utilize them, they may think that you're a celebrity that has no idea how to manage your money, or you wouldn't be a good, this is what the perception could be, depending on how the picture is painted of you. Where if I bring more attention to the things you are least comfortable with speaking on, instead of talking about the things that you'd rather people understand about you, then I am giving people, or I'm allowing people to see the things that you keep hidden, the things that you don't want people to pay attention to. So it could be that the perception, I'm trying to taint the perception of everybody else, depending on the topics that I choose to question you on, whether or not you believe that you are there to answer those questions. So that's why I'm bringing this to you guys' attention. Okay, look at this next clip and think about what I just said to you.
You're used to wearing $5,000 and $6,000 and $7,000 gowns at a time.
She then asked whether the singer took responsibility for the situation she found herself in. Tony, apparently oblivious of what Oprah was up to, nodded in agreement, saying she 100% owned up to the financial mess she found herself in. Meanwhile, it's public knowledge that artists have accountants and fund managers who advise them on how much comes in and how to spend the money. So fans thought that Oprah was indirectly criticizing her for wasting money when it wasn't totally her fault, but that of her finance management team. It looked like Oprah had an agenda and was bent on seeing it through. Next,
you're used to wearing $5,000 and $6,000 and $7,000 gowns at a time.
She then asked whether the singer took responsibility for the situation she found herself in. Tony, apparently oblivious of what Oprah was up to, nodded in agreement, saying she 100% owned up to the financial mess she found herself in. Meanwhile, it's public knowledge that artists have accountants and fund managers who advise them on how much comes in and how to spend the money. So fans thought that Oprah was indirectly criticizing her for wasting money when it wasn't totally her fault, but that of her finance management team. It looked like Oprah had an agenda and was bent on seeing it through.
BROKE, broke?
Broke.
Like broke.
Like, no money.
No money.
Yeah.
Like net worth what?
Negative.
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 She has filed for bankruptcy. Appraisers are now taking stock of her personal possessions, her baby grand piano, her Gucci silverware, her Porsche and Lexus.
I couldn't believe it because I loved her so much. I admired her and looked up to her. And she pretty much reprimanded me.
Oprah Winfrey, America's sweetheart or secret career killer.
I needed y'all to see that. I just needed y'all to see that. Because I absolutely believe that Toni Braxton coming on the Oprah Winfrey show, that was targeted. It was a targeted interview, whether Toni Braxton knew it or not, which she probably did not. But this was a targeted interview, in my opinion, because this lady, she's so hypocritical, by the way, because just like I said, she's one of those people who does not like to provide the media any energy when it's directed towards someone who's spoken on her name negatively. She chooses not to go back and forth in the media. So in a sense, she's choosing good, right? Instead of bad. Remember that?
No matter what it is you're doing for other people, no matter how tedious or menial the job may seem to you, that if you shift the paradigm of whatever your work is to how do I use this to serve? How can I be of service? Whether it's your talents, whatever it is you're offering, if it is offered in service, the shifting of the paradigm to I'm going to use this to serve makes a world of difference in the way you put that energy out into the world and the way that it comes back to you.
Y'all heard that, right? She said that if you change the way you set out your attention, basically. So if you set out to intend to do good by using whatever you can to serve the audience, then it makes a difference in how it comes back to you. Not necessarily whether or not you putting it out as a means of service could actually be doing harm or hurt or hindrance to the person is not what she said. Okay.
That's what I learned from doing the show. My life is fueled by my being, and the being fuels the doing. So I come from a centered place. I come from a focused place. I come from compassion. It's just my nature. I come from a willingness to understand and to be understood. And I come from wanting to connect. Is no matter what it is you're doing for other people, no matter how tedious or menial the job may seem to you, that if you shift the paradigm of whatever your work is to how do I use this to serve? How can I be of service? Whether it's your talents, whatever it is you're offering, if it is offered in service, shifting of the paradigm to I'm going to use this to serve makes a world of difference in the way you put that energy out into the world.
So I hope that y'all kind of understand what I was getting to. That maybe in a more supportive way. Okay, because this is how she's looking at it, in my opinion. This is how Oprah is looking at it. As long as it's done in a supportive way to the audience and it provides a service, then what she receives from that will be in recognition of the service. Not necessarily in recognition of whether or not the topic could actually cause harm to the person that the topics are in reference to. So I hope I'm making myself clear with that. But like I said, there is a hidden agenda to anything that Oprah does. So no, I'm not going to say it's far-fetched that Oprah, after Toni Braxton appeared on her show, that Oprah had a hand in the things that would transpire with Toni Braxton's career. I'm leaving it at that. No, she don't want to do that, and she really does believe that you shouldn't do that either. So if you do that, I am telling you that this lady is going to take offense, but she's going to do it in a passive aggressive way where she doesn't directly have to speak to you. Because in comparison to who she is, you might not meet that quota or that criteria. So if you don't meet that criteria, you are not worthy enough for her attention. Okay. Now, this is something else that I wrote down. I said, Oprah is separate from color, even when she's supporting colored people. The reason why I wrote that down is because I believe that Oprah Winfrey may be strongly opposed to her own people. She may have some strong opposition against her own people. And this may have stemmed from her childhood, where she says in one of her documentaries that her mother was living with another black woman, but the black woman her mother was living with was a light-skinned black. She said that this light-skinned black woman could have passed for a white woman. And she said that that lady told her mother that Oprah couldn't sleep in the house. She couldn't sleep in the house. So her mom made her sleep outside in a little area, like I guess on the porch or something of the house. She couldn't sleep inside with everybody else.
Really knew who I was. The love that we're seeing Oprah give the universe really was born out of your love for her.
Right. My mother and I had a complicated relationship. It wasn't until I became the famous Oprah Winfrey that I felt that she was even interested in seeing me.
I remember the first night entering into the house and being told that I wouldn't be able to sleep with my mother and I wouldn't be able to sleep inside the house. It was because of the color of my skin. I don't know how I knew that, but I did.
Easy?
Right.
Oprah.
I just had to play that little clip for y'all so y'all can hear her say that. She realized that it was because of the color of her skin. I believe that this may have set the tone for the way she would continue to go about her life. That's what I'll say. And Oprah chopped this up to the lady not liking the fact that she was dark-skinned. She said that she knew at that moment that it was because of the color of her skin, because the light-skinned woman did not want her in the home. And she said she came to that understanding after she saw that there was a light-skinned daughter. Also, I believe that was Oprah's sister, half-sister or something. where the little girl was light skinned. And so the light skinned little girl was able to sleep in the house, and Oprah had to sleep outside.
House, and being told that I wouldn't be able to sleep with my mother and I wouldn't be able to sleep inside the house. But there was a little foyer porch before you actually got inside the house. And I was put outside to sleep there. Light-skinned black woman who could pass for white. And I could tell instantly when I walked in the room that she didn't like me. It was because of the color of my skin. I don't know how I knew that, but I did.
Years later, Oprah continues to be judged and criticized for her appearance.
The new assistant news director came to me and said, you know, your hair is too long, it's too thick, your eyes are too far apart, your nose is too wide, and your chin is too long, and you need to do something about it. I went through a real period of self-discovery because you have to find other reasons for appreciating yourself.
Entering into that house and...
So this could have been the point in her life where she said, or she, in her mind, it was more acceptable to be light or white than it was to be black. So I think at this point, she began to hate the color of her skin. She began to hate how she looked. She said she knew she wasn't going to make it by her looks. So she had to find another way, and that's when she began educating herself or getting educated, going to college and stuff like that. So I feel like this is when, during this time where she's getting all this education and she's deciding what she wants to do with her life and all of this, she is creating relationships.
Because you have to find other reasons for appreciating yourself. It's certainly not your looks. Because you have to find other reasons for appreciating yourself. It's certainly not your looks.
That would support her efforts, what she wanted to do. Not so much what she was representing, if that makes sense. So even though she could have come off like she cared to people. She could have come off like she was supporting vulnerable people, people with mental health issues, people who had suffered injustice. Even though she came off like she was helping, that she wanted to be helpful to these people, there was an underlying agenda here, because that's not all it was about. Because in my opinion, Oprah wasn't the best in her relationships or partnerships with people.